the day he was shot by a sniper. He left this earth in a peaceful manner. He was retrieved by Corporal Travis Zombrowski, but he recalls Daniel telling the corpsman that he was tired and that he was going to close his eyes just for a moment and rest. He just drifted off and left this earth. So we as parents can feel comfortable in knowing that he didn't die suffering and crying out in pain. And the corpsman reached down and kissed him on the forehead and bid him fond farewell. These things are memories that a parent will never forget.
Good morning. Welcome, friends and family. It truly is a beautiful morning. And at this time, could you please stand for the presentation of the colors by the Patriot Guard? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. At this time, I want to recognize some of our special guests. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming out. We have Superintendent Jackie Pons, who's going to be speaking just a little bit. Senator Bill Mumford. Scott Maddox, candidate for City Commissioner. Is Dr. Henderson, I think he's on his way. He might be running a little late. Dr. Henderson, Assistant Superintendent of Leon County Schools. Representative Michelle Ray Vasalinda. Ray Winkle, sorry. I knew I was going to do that. And Peggy Youngblood, Director of Elementary Schools for Leon County. Welcome. And also our Patriot Guard members. Thank you for coming. It's an honor to have you here, an absolute pleasure. And thank you for your service. We do appreciate all you do for the community and what you've done in the past. Thank you. At this time, I think I'm going to have Superintendent Pons come up.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. I want to thank the chair's family for inviting me to speak. And I think today, I was driving over here, I thought about, what education's about, real education. And when you think about Daniel, you think about a role model for every student that we have in our school system. And the fact that because of individuals like him and people like him, the true Americans, that we're able to go to church on Sunday, we're able to be in different political parties, we're able to live in the greatest country in the world. And his ultimate sacrifice. And I was thinking about that, probably 60, 70 years from now, we'll all be gone. We'll be gone. And people will come around this school and they will see this monument, this dedication to him, and he will live on forever. And I don't think there's anything more important than that. And also for our future generations of children that come here to school or go to school throughout our community, they'll have a real role model, not these fake role models that we all talk about today, but a real role model, a real American that they can look up to and somebody that they can be like. And that's important. I think that's real important. So to the family, 6 years ago, I know your life changed forever. And I just want to thank you for what you've given back to our country, with the greatest sacrifice of all. And as the superintendent of schools, I don't think there's anything in our system that I'm more proud of today than this monument that sits here behind me. And it's a testament to what we need to be doing, not only here in Tallahassee, Florida, but throughout our nation. I've asked Carrie to work with me as we move downtown to the and the family to the Bloxham building. You know, it's Bill Mumford, our former superintendent, did such a great job. He helped us able to get that building back. It's the oldest in the history of ours, the old Carolyn Bavard School, and we're going to put a monument that will be there that will honor all of the young people that we've lost in all the Gulf Wars, so that they can all be remembered along with Daniel, and Daniel will be part of that too. So thank you to the family for allowing me to say a few words, and may God bless you every day, and I'll continue to pray for you. Thank you.
Senator.
Thank you, Madam Principal, and thank you for the honor to be here today just to share a few thoughts with you. You know, there are very few places in the world like chairs. If you look back and you look at the history of this community, it runs deep. There's a deep and abiding history and respect for this community. There's a deep and abiding respect for the families who have spent generations right here on this ground where we stand today. And this ground today is even more special. It's a hallowed ground even more because of the sacrifices, not only of Daniel, but of the other chairs families and other families in this community. Daniel is a perfect representative of what's right about this country. And if you notice, I said what is, not what he is, and not what he was. He is a representative, a perfect representative of what's right for this country, what's good about this country, and what makes this country what it is. Mr. Chairs and I was talking just a few minutes ago, and we were talking about destiny, and he said, you know, if people don't believe in destiny, there's something wrong with them. And I agree with him totally. There's a special place in heaven, there's a special place in history for young men and women like Daniel. There's a special place in history and a special place in heaven because these young men and women gave it all. They gave their life to be, for us, as the superintendent said a minute ago, to enjoy living in a country that is known for freedom and the ability to be able to live a good life. We all owe Daniel. We all owe Daniel not for what he did, but for what he will continue to do through the young people like we have right here today. He will be an inspiration. He will continue to be a model, and we are blessed to have had him in our community. So to the family, we want to express our deepest sorrow again. We also want to express our deep appreciation for raising a fine young man.
Representative Ray Winkle-Vassalinda.
Today's a very special day honoring the day that Daniel died. And I want to recognize my husband here, Mike Vassalinda, who actually should be up here speaking because he did a documentary on Daniel and lived with the family for numbers of hours, seeing your pain and knowing the honor and the love that you have for Daniel. And what we're doing today is honoring our dead, and we have to do that. We have to do that to give memory and to give honor and love for their sacrifice. I know because my grandfather died in World War II. I never met him, but we have touchstones in our family, things that we have of my grandfather's that we see, that we touch, that we look at, and he has influenced me, a man that I never met. So the monument that we have to Daniel today, the memory that we honor today, that we remember, will influence other young people to go on and do things with their lives and to know what the sacrifice was that Daniel made, but also that Daniel's sacrifice is emblematic of the sacrifice of others, not only of lives, but of limbs, but of minds and time. And there are still people serving, still men and women serving in dangerous zones. And we need to remember them every single day in our prayers. And thank you for doing this, and thank you for the sacrifice that you made. God bless you.
Major Spalding, I think we're going to trade places.
Yes. You may hear the voice of the future here a couple of times. Good morning, and thank you for inviting me to be part of this. Hey, baby. This is a day I won't forget. 6 years ago today, about lunchtime, I got a message that one of our young Marines had been killed in Iraq, and it was time for me to go meet the family. And that day is etched in my mind like 9/11, or for some people, Pearl Harbor. My grandparents used to talk about that all the time. And that day I'll never forget. It changed the world. I remember 9/11. I had just finished a tour as an infantry platoon commander in a rifle company XO, and just gone to the basic school to teach infantry tactics to lieutenants. And it had been a time where we were in this long galactic era of peace in the Marine Corps. Matter of fact, the 100 officers I served with, none of them had really seen combat. And it just kind of seemed like something that you read about, but it wasn't something we were going to do. No time soon. Then one beautiful morning, my boss came in as I was rehearsing a class I was about to teach, and told me that an airplane had crashed into the World Trade Center. And I was trying to remember what the World Trade Center was. I knew it was a skyscraper, but it didn't resonate with me. And he came back 20 minutes later or whatever it was and said, another airplane crashed into the World Trade Center. We're under attack, and you need to come in. We had a conference room with the news feed things. You need to come in. We're under attack. We don't know what's going on. And that changed my life, and it changed the life of our country. Well, as we all know the history, we invaded Afghanistan in October 3rd, 2001, and we're still there. It's been 11 years, 2 weeks, and 4 days that we've been in Afghanistan, and we still have Marines like Daniel fighting there today. We invaded Iraq, as you also know, in 2003 in the spring of. We spent in combat operations 3,187 days in combat in Iraq. I own about 300 of those days. We spent $1 trillion, and 1.5 million Americans served in uniform in Iraq, and we still have a large diplomatic corps that are serving today. Over 32,226 to be specific, of our U.S. servicemen were wounded in Iraq, and those are the wounds that you spoke of that won't go away. The limbs, the mental traumas, those won't go away. And we had 4,485 soldiers, sailors, airmen, coasties, and Marines that gave their life in Iraq. So as the political climate continues to move on, and we hear that within 2014 we'll be bringing our soldiers and Marines back from Afghanistan, what that does is it allows the country to kind of collectively move on with their lives and just go on about the pursuit of happiness. And that's why this monument's important, because we need to do that, but we can't forget. There are thousands of communities across our country, like Chair's Capitola, that have lost sons and daughters as we defended freedom in the global war on terror. Yesterday, I went to the Orlando Sentinel's website, and they listed out in Florida all of the servicemen who died in Iraq or Afghanistan by community. And Tallahassee has 4 that died in Iraq. Specialist Robert Weiss, the United States Army. First Sergeant Alan Gifford, United States Army. Lance Corporal Daniel Chairs, United States Marine Corps. And Corporal Julian Woodall, United States Marine Corps. So as we continue as a community to go on enjoying the freedoms that those brave men and women are providing for us, we can't forget about what they've done, their sacrifices. And these statues help to keep that real. And we need to challenge ourselves and our youth to keep it real every day as we enjoy our freedoms. For me, those names aren't statistics. For some, it may seem that way, but for me, those aren't statistics. Those are real people and real families. There's 4 families from our community specifically, and I'm very close to 2 of them. This monument is the personification of those 4,485 souls that gave their life for our country in Iraq. It's 4,485 dreams that might not ever be realized. It's 4,485 young men and women who will not vote in 12 days in this coming election. It's 4,485 American heroes. Daniel is more than just his monument, has been stated. I've had the fortune to get to know Daniel through his family. I could tell you tons of silly stories of him in Iraq, telling jokes with the other Marines on post, how he would name all the stray dogs that would run around in Iraq. I mean, I could tell you funny stories about Daniel. He's not just a statue. He is more alive to me than many of the people I know today. And I never had the pleasure of actually meeting him in the flesh. This statue helps us all remember these people and take the time to get to know them because they aren't statistics. Daniel did more in his short life than many people do in 80 years. And those other 4,484 servicemen probably did the same. So when you see these statues, ask yourselves, have you done your part today? Because we all collectively as a community have a responsibility. Have you done your part? Have you done your part for your family? Have you done your part for your community? Have you done your part for our country? And there's many ways to serve. Make sure that you're doing your part. Tell Daniel's story. He's not a statue. He's not a park. He is an American hero and a person who lived right across the street. He's a real person, and we need to remember that every single day of our lives. Hopefully, we won't have combat again, but my sneaking suspicion is there will be Marines in contact with the enemy again someday in the future of our country, just as our soldiers do every day, and our airmen, and our sailors, and our coasties, just as our first responders do every day in our community. There will be something else. I just can't tell you what it's going to be. And I would hope and pray that our children, one of mine of which is here today, never have to see that. And it's because of brave men and women like Daniel that step forward is the reason why we all can sit here and enjoy our freedoms. Our Patriot Guard, other people who have served. So tell the story, teach it to our children. Be proud of what we are and what Daniel was for our country, and live up to the legacy that he left us on a daily basis. I thank you for your time. I thank all the educators that are here, and God bless you and God bless our country.
Our chorus has prepared something special for you, so at this time I'm going to hand it over to Miss Ashley.
To the mothers and fathers of United States Marines who have fought and bled and died, so that freedom's bell still rings, from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, from the sands of Iwo Jima to the alleys of Fallujah. Your son fought and won, your son died to make men free. There is a debt we owe your son that we can never repay. We owe your son more than platitudes heard on Memorial Day. Your son is a son of America, one of the proud and the few. Your son volunteered to do the things other men would not do. Your son was semper fidelis, always faithful to the end was he. Your son was a shining example of what a man is supposed to be. Now your son has been reassigned to stand guard on heaven's streets. When my time is over, I know that we will meet. I'll thank your son for my freedom, for keeping terror on a distant shore. I'll thank your son for our way of life and the sacrifice he bore.
so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
This morning, we are here to remember Daniel Charis and the great sacrifice that he and his family gave for our country. The song we're singing, called Land That We Love, is especially fitting for this morning. You'll hear us sing words like loyalty, faithful, and proud. All of these, and many more, are the qualities that Daniel had as he served America. So thank you for allowing us to be a small part of this gathering where we remember and are inspired by Daniel B. Charis.
Land that we love, land of the free, we pledge to you our loyalty. Land of our birth, friend
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. At this time, can I have all who have served in the armed forces or served our country in some capacity to please stand? Ironically, they're already standing. Wow. I want to say thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. We are here today because of you. Thank you. And to the Chair's family, I am so sorry for your loss. Thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you. I think it's appropriate to close in prayer right now. So if I could ask you to bow your heads. Dear Lord, bless this beautiful nation in which we live. Watch over the men and women who fight courageously to make this land so great. Give them the vision and the courage to make decisions that affect the future of our world. Bless the families of our soldiers and comfort them. Replace their fears and tears with peace. In your name we pray. Amen.
The day he was shot by a sniper, he left this earth in a peaceful manner. He was retrieved by Corporal Travis Zombrowski, but he recalls Daniel telling the corpsman that he was tired and that he was going to close his eyes just for a moment and rest. He just drifted off and left this earth. So we as parents can feel comfortable in knowing that he didn't die suffering and crying out in pain. And the corpsman reached down and kissed him on the forehead and bid him fond farewell. These things are memories that a parent will never forget. My ancestors fought the Indians here, and a large part of the family was massacred in 1832. And this statue just is a reminder, not only the Chair's family, but so many people have what they have given to this country for us to be what we are. And this is just a small little community, but it's a cross-section of the entire United States and what everybody stands for.